Sound out of the computer is not coming out that loud. Something changed. Something changed. What could that thing be? What changed? USB. Oh, I see. Don't do that live. All right, good to know. Okay, so it seems like all the sound's down a little bit. Does it to you? I gotta really learn how to use this thing.
Seems fine on my end.
Check 1 2. Our mics are where they should be. Okay, here we go. All right, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Merry Boxing Day.
I hope things are well
it's
for everyone.
It's the second day of Christmas.
Exactly. It's been a fun day. We've had a great time.
We've been arm twisting family into staying here for the past 48 hours.
You may know Maine Wire reporter Edward Tomich, who was Alice's brother. We had it was great. It was tough letting him go. I used all my bullying tactics to make him
try
stay.
and get him to stay and be on the podcast with us. But
yeah,
we forced him to be here long enough. We offered him a bed, but he fell asleep, curled up in like a ball on the sofa. Mm-hmm.
Alice, a little inside information, okay? He was fine in the sofa, sleeping there, and fine. But here's the thing: is just some great conversations. Let me tell you guys, Tommy and Morgan, probably especially Morgan, you would find his ideology bueno. Absolutely.
Julie and Phil wanted to know if I put an EBT card in your stocking.
Oh, that would be great.
No, nothing that good, unfortunately.
Nothing that good. Do you know what it is? It's just something that shows. It's funny. When I worked at the Sonesta Hotel in 1993, when me and the guys, it was me and 3 guys from Guyana and 1 guy from Portugal. Essentially, that's all it was. And I was low man at that time. I was new because I was only 20 years old. And we were working so hard and getting OT and working like 90 hours a week. It was like crazy how slammed we were getting. But we were slammed, but at the same time, I missed like the fear of missing out thing was big too, because I'd be vacuuming. You'd have to set up for a wedding and then wait for the wedding, all the fun to be done, and you could hear the partying. And I was that kind of guy who wishes I was part of the party. And then eventually break down the wedding after they all left. All the drunkards were having happiness, and they would all they'd all be gone, and we'd have to vacuum the rooms like 3 a.m. sometimes, vacuuming the room, looking out at Boston and all the bright gleaming lights because it's the Sonesta's across the Charles River from Boston, and like I was so envious. I just wanted to be where all those lights were, etc. And it got to me, and we'd find one of the perks of the job was we'd find a whole bunch of jewelry that bridesmaids and drunken women had left behind, and you turn it into lost and found. And after a month or so, you got to keep it. So I had this collection of jewelry, which my Malden girlfriend Susan rated. She was like, "Oh, this is great stuff. Oh my god, this is great." She loved it. So she rated and got most of my good stuff. But
Tommy in New Hampshire says you were the DEI hire.
I was, as a matter of fact. That's absolutely true. And let me tell you something. They stopped hiring people who look like me after that for good reason.
You didn't work as hard as
No way. I was sick after 80 hours. I was like, enough of this, guys. I want to get the freak out of here. And they'd do each other professional courtesies. So the night crew would set up always for the morning crews, 10 a.m. function. I'm like, dude, there's going to be other guys in here at 6. Let's get the frig home. And they'd be like, why, boy, shut up. Why you talk so? They had the Guyanese accent, and they'd call me all sorts of... They were not afraid to use homophobic slurs on me or any number of insults, which I loved all of them. The guys were great, and but it was a different time. And so... I would look out longingly at the world, and one time, and I was an American kid who was trying to have a bit of a social life, and so I didn't want to keep working 80 hours. And one time, the food and beverage manager, who loved us because our crew we were the best at the setting up and breaking down of our crew. The guys, by the way, all those guys now all owned millions of dollars of
Real estate.
real estate. You know, they were buying stuff in Roxbury and Southie back then, and what was then like, which is now what now is the south end of Boston is Tony. They were buying dumps there and rehabbing them. They all work together, and like totally, these guys are now fine.
It's the American dream.
Yeah. Yeah, we have passed each other in the night as far as
You
trajectory.
went this way.
Yes,
Ooh,
I've pummeled. Yes,
downward.
exactly. And they went up. But it reminds me of while we were doing that. One of the managers who we worked closely with said, "Guys, I got you a present because you guys have been awesome here. So I got you this present," and he got us a boombox so that we could listen to. We always listen to Bob Marley's greatest hits. You can listen to Bob Marley with a better sound quality as we toiled away in these rooms. And I was so pissed off. Oh, that's the present? You know, just a FYI, food and beverage manager. I'm from Winchester, okay? I'm not from the third world. I understand what's a present and what is, you know, a nice spritz while we're working the fields here. It's like, it is so... But I was angry and about that particular present, because to me that's not a present. A present is like a little liberation would be nice. Let me turn off, you know, something personal.
Now, what makes you stay there and work the job, Tom?
I understand, but believe me, I was not accustomed to doing such labor. But so, and what is that? What did we start talking about? Because this whole thing has been for a reason. What was it? Where did we start?
I don't remember why we got on this topic.
Oh, that's unfortunate, because what reminds me of this, guys? Why did I mention this? Can you look at the
My
message?
brother was here.
Brother was here.
Everyone was talking about my boobs. It wasn't EBT card in your stocking? The
EBT
stocking stuffer?
Oh, yes. Oh, that.
Okay.
That's right. We're going to bring it around now.
Okay.
And what Alice gave me for my stocking stuffer was essentially a boombox to listen to while I toiled at work. That's what she got me. She got me something so that I could manage my
Work harder for me.
my grueling, horrible task that I have to do better, so that she can benefit.
I don't think
Because I am but a
some
slave.
people- I don't
and-
think everybody thinks that
I am but a
the
slave.
fact that
and so,
you have to be intimate with me is a
well, Alice, you're
grueling and
giving
horrible
away the
task.
present.
Well, but Tommy in New Hampshire got a ball gag, and we said it did have to do with intimacy.
By the way,
I don't think that everybody thinks that it's poor, unfortunate Tom Shattuck having to do the horrible, gruesome, terrible task of having to be intimate with me. I mean, like, maybe some people feel like that, but I don't think everybody feels that way.
well, no, that's the thing is that, yeah, the stocking stuffer is made so that you who have to do nothing to performance enhance, but be a human being, female. It's made to essentially give me performance enhancing drugs so that I get to do my part, which is all of the things better. Because God forbid, look, Cleopatra not have the basking in the afterglow moment. So yeah, so that's what I got. I got PEDs so that Alice can make sure that there can be more pick sixes.
Like, you
That's
benefit
what it is.
too. I mean, sorry, jeez.
Yeah, this
I
is.
won't bother you in the future, I guess.
This is for Alice to get more pick sixes. Did you, by the way, did you log?
Oh, Morgan said he did guess Viagra on Twitter. I didn't.
He's
check.
correct.
Yeah.
Did you log? Update the log?
Did I update the law? Oh, yes.
You did.
Yeah, of course.
Wow, that's amazing.
I put in my temperature.
So now nobody cares about your temperature. Now the days when I'm
I put
days when I'm 3 and out.
I put in
and
whenever I'm intimate, and there's a checkbox that I can check off if there was a female orgasm.
Okay. And is there a little frowny face if there's not? That you...
I think it's like one of those symbols that's like an O with a line through it, like nothing.
Oh, I see,
like
a hash mark. I assume that thing is like that app is freaking bursting with tile
Morgan
ads.
says that's an awesome gift, and I'm a good wife.
I assume
See that?
That app is bursting with tile ads and pop-up ads and all sorts of. You should be getting more satisfaction from your man. You should be getting. Yeah, you know what? I should. Mm-hmm. All right.
Stop.
By the way, but this camera is right at my hairline, so my male part of
you adjust your own camera. I don't move it, so.
Jesus, goodness.
Sorry, everybody.
All right, where do you want to start, bro? Whoa, Jesus, Alice.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Do you like the live stream, honey?
It is. Oh, there's my hand. That's funny.
You enjoy watching yourself? Why do you like it so much?
Okay. Where do you want to start here today?
Well, so the big news is all the H-1B visa stuff. That's what is the thing.
Right. And Vivek Ramaswamy
says that Americans are unmotivated and lazy. And
I generally agree with.
We have a culture of mediocrity, which I also kind of agree with. And that therefore, because we have a culture of mediocrity, we should bring more Indian people who are better than us in here to fill all the jobs.
Right. Now, I have no problem skimming every country's best and bringing them here, and especially if they're calibrated to believe in capitalism and the American dream, etc. Then let's go. Let's do it. If they're law abiders, then yeah, let's take all the best from all the countries. I've got no problem. I do not care that the town's getting browner. Good. That's great. That's great. I do get the feeling that.
But it's interesting because and I've enjoyed watching this debate on Twitter because I don't think I have like a very strong conviction on this either way. Like I think we should bring the best of every country. I think it's a little bit up for debate, like what the best is, and I don't think necessarily that the people who used to show up in America, like all the Italians and Irish and like all my Slavic people and whatever, was necessarily like the cream of the crop. But I do think that what used to happen was it was very hard to come to America. You had to like go in a little uncomfortable boat for a long time and suffer and what people went through to build a life in America was effing crazy. And that's like still like that relatively recently. Like I think that part of the reason immigrants do really, really well in America and are really successful has nothing to do necessarily with like the culture of their country that's like underlying it, but has more to do with the culture of the type of person that kills themselves to get their family into America. Do you see what I mean? And so I think that has a selection effect on its own that's really powerful. And I say that as somebody like, obviously I hang around with a lot of Serbian people, and the Serbian people who are here are all like super motivated overachievers. It's like all engineers and CEOs and dentists and doctors, like everybody. But if you go to Serbia, there's a bunch of losers in Serbia too. You know what I mean? Like there's everything there, but the people who take the time to come here are like the best people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I get it.
So it's interesting. Oh, Morgan says agreed on only hot chicks. That's funny. So we were talking about this today about making a t-shirt.
We're going to launch this tonight.
That says, what was it?
I sent it to, I'm looking for it right now. My phone had battery
Open
died,
borders for hot chicks. Was that it?
I think it was. Let me just make sure.
Because I said basically like.
Open borders for hotties.
Open borders for hotties, right?
Yes.
So this is like, we'll make a Burn Barrel t-shirt that says open borders for hotties. Because we were talking about it and I was like, and we were saying like, oh, Trump wants more immigration. I was like, well, he wants more like Melanias to come to America. And like, so then my brother was like,
an undisclosed source said.
Was like, oh, well, open borders for hotties. So yeah, I mean, basically that's.
Yes.
So yeah. So, but one of the things I thought was interesting about this, and like Tommy from New Hampshire says, not all engineer jobs need 130 IQs.
Right.
And like, it's interesting if you go through like the list of
one of your holsters is still showing. I guess I don't care. It's not a bad thing.
It like slides a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a. Yeah.
Sorry for offending you with my boob.
Not offended.
But basically, like if you look through all the H-1B visa job listings, a lot of them are like $40,000, $60,000 a year jobs. Like one was like $100,000 a year HR representative at PepsiCo. Like they can't find an HR representative in America.
Maybe they can't. What do you suggest? I mean, that make me for HR that I get, but you're right. Yeah, that's that.
Do you get what I'm saying? These are all like normal jobs that any person could do, and there's like people out of work here.
So why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think there's an H-1 visa for that?
Because companies are incentivized to bring people in from outside.
Gotcha.
And, it's for a combination of reasons, but I think that, and there's, caps on different countries. So this is the whole thing is they want to raise the cap on countries, but specifically for India, the cap is obviously really restrictive because India has 1 billion people in it. And so it's an interesting question because I do think there's like a speed of assimilation issue. Right. And I do think it's a problem if immigrants don't assimilate to America at all. Like you need to have some shared culture. And there has to be you can only assimilate so many people at a time. You know what I mean? Like Tommy says, visa people work cheap. I think this is a big issue in tech. Right. And people use the example on Twitter. This is why I say I enjoyed watching the whole debate on Twitter because it was very interesting. People talking back and forth. Remember when Disney had everybody train their H-1B visa replacements, and then they hired those people instead, and they're cheaper, and it gets at the core of sort of this argument about what is the government for, and what is our immigration policy for? Is it purely to make corporations richer, or does the government have an obligation to people who are already in America, right? It is the idea, can you just bring in, and this is the Tucker Carlson argument, kind of. If you don't like your voters, can you just bring in new people? Do you know what I'm saying? And
of
so
course.
It's and I think everybody's pro-immigration in the sense of bringing more people to America who are talented and great and open borders for hotties, right? There you go. We want to bring in great people and talented people and people who want to be American. And my mom gave me the Melania book for Christmas, actually, so that's exciting.
Oh, I heard you say something about that.
I'll report back to you. But it's a fascinating argument, and I think it gets at the core of this sort of this disagreement within the GOP because there's always been this sort of thing, well, we're all pro-legal immigration, just not illegal. And that's part of it, but there's also how much legal immigration and from where. And we already have the so-called genius visa, the O1 visa, that's for generational talent, incredible people. That's if we want to bring in the special, German scientists to develop the nuclear bomb, whatever. We bring in the people who are really, really brainiacs or whatever.
Course.
So that's a separate visa from the H-1B visa, which is supposed to just be if a company can't fill a job in the United States, then they get someone from overseas. But I just don't believe that these companies can't fill these jobs domestically. I think they're financially incentivized with cheaper labor from overseas and with different standards of living and cultural attitudes toward work. So that, for example, that chip factory that they built, that's a Taiwanese company in Arizona, they already half the company is made up of Taiwanese people that they brought in to immigrate here to work for them because American people don't work the same amount of hours and stuff, right? That company is known for 12-hour work days and nights and weekends and no work-life balance. And that's the cultural standard in Taiwan. And Americans won't do that, at least not for the pay that company's offering. You know what I mean? Whereas that's the cultural standard in Taiwan, so then people come here and they'll probably raise kids who are awesome Americans and everything else.
Oh, totally.
But does it make sense to undercut the American worker in that way? And I guess in a way it's more efficient. That person will work more hours for less money.
Of course it will.
But Also, like, does it make sense to just bring in infinitely more people because they'll work for cheaper than Americans will?
Well, I think that the company shouldn't be incentivized to do it, obviously. That said, I believe in recruiting and poaching. Poaching the best and recruiting the best. But that's not what this is, you're saying. So, yeah. I mean, anything DEI should be stopped at once. Anything in the spirit of DEI should be stopped at once. Anything in the spirit of equity should be stopped and reversed immediately.
Right.
At once. It's all poison.
But I think it's an interesting debate and a good debate. Like,
yes.
How much immigration and what kind of immigration?
Well, right.
Like, we don't need to build New Delhi here.
Yeah, we don't want to do that, of course.
Like, so, I mean, then that's sort of the debate, right? It's like, if you want to be in India, you can just be in India. We don't need to recreate India in the United States. But obviously, there's a ton of awesome Indian Americans, including, like, one who's married to the vice president, including, obviously, Vivek. And, like, there's so much great culture and entrepreneurship and great ideas and people who work hard. And I think that we just need to be really careful about who we're bringing in and to do what and these types of questions. Do you know
but
what
also,
I mean?
like, I think Vivek said it, and it's a really slow news cycle right now. And so it's resonating because it's a conversation to have. But that's it's like whether or not to bring in more Viveks is not really the problem. We can start with dudes lighting people on fires in subways. Like, right there, why don't we start with that first? I think that people have... What the Biden administration has been for 4 years has been so concussive to people that I don't think we realize, like, how almost culturally traumatized we are.
Right.
But this has been the zombie apocalypse becoming reality. It really has in the last 4 years. And everything needs to be undone. Everything. It's all BS. All of the narratives need to be undone, stripped away, etc. And thank God that right now that Trump has total resolve and he could give a bleep what people think. Strip all the Floyd crap. No more murals. You know what I would even do if I were him? I would say... tell Hartford. I know they'll try to impeach him, but he doesn't care. And also, impeachment doesn't mean anything anymore. I would withhold funding. Try to withhold funding for places like Connecticut and Boston until they get rid of all the crap, and go back to pre-2020. Columbus Park is now Columbus Park again. But also, like, as much as bad as Biden's been in blue states and blue communities. They're still dealing with this stuff right now. Like, they're not done. Nationally, yes, the left has been blown out. That cultural movement is done. But you've still got the architects of it in office. You've still got Kathy Hochul, who did the whole thing with on the New York subway station, saying, oh, now you can go shopping anytime because the trains are safe, before the dude lights a lady on fire and watches as the cops walk by. It's like, even if, like, lighting a white lady or whatever she was on fire is allowed now, still now, also the cops are now walking by. Like, yeah, no thank you. In Boston, just what the whole total mess. These smiling, progressive, oftentimes female political leaders, these are psychos. And we've seen what happens with these psychos, and it's death and destruction between ribbon cuttings, between blacks only Christmas parties that she has.
Right.
We need to undo all of this BS right now. It is absolutely nuts. It's nonsense. We have been the worst this country has ever been, from 2020 to 2024. And we need to stop it. And start forbidden words like the R word, bring it back. Like the F word, every variation of it, bring them all back. I'm not saying that it's time to hate on anybody whatsoever, etc.
Right.
But these people who, under the guise of being civil and showing empathy, these people have shown to be ogres and have destroyed things, including entire institutions. So, which is why now you've got people saying, yeah, it's awesome, and celebrating the fact that the CEO of the healthcare company got killed. By the way, if it's okay to kill him, it's okay to kill everybody involved in student loans too, because we hate those too. Those are bad, right? Those are predatory. So then it's okay to kill all the people who make us feel like we're not appreciated, and then we're the Jacobins. So there you go. So that's fine. We're just going to kill, right now we're just killing healthcare CEOs. It's fine. Now we're just going to kill the people involved in student loan CEOs, those CEOs. And then the banks that back some of that stuff, CEOs. And then we're going to kill these. And then eventually we'll probably get to having to kill the people who presidents of colleges. And then they'll say, okay, that should be enough. Then they're going to say, no. What about energy companies? We'll have to kill those people. Okay, then we'll stop. No, we can't. Okay, we're going to have to kill all of everybody who's in a C-suite, and then we'll just start from scratch now, and we'll all be purified for the fact that we're calling this year zero now. And as long as we just kill all those people, after all those people, then the killing really stops. And then the person over there, who's the fellow Jacobin, says, by the way, like, why aren't you talking about killing finance bros? And you say, well, I mean, I guess we could kill them too. And then that person says, the other Jacobin says, well, how come it took you this long? And that person says, do you have like a 401k or something? And then it's time to kill the fellow Jacobins with 401ks. Right. Then it's time to kill the Jacobins who are Taylor Swift fans because she's big corporate. Then it's time to kill the like this has played out before in the world. And it is playing itself out just right. And it begins with laughing at things like Jews being massacred. You know, because they have it coming. They're like just like healthcare CEOs. And like this is the collapse of this society, aided by this old withering man. There should be 300 people in and around the Biden administration who are in jail for this cover up of this guy's in the fact that he was lost his mind and is no longer president.
Well, yeah, and it's funny. So we didn't talk about this that much, but I thought it was like incredible gaslighting that PolitiFact chose as their quote lie of the year, the Haitians eating cats and dogs. When we know, first of all, that that's true, but secondly, that it seems to me that the most consequential lie of the year of our Lord 2024 was that Biden was okay to be president, not just now, but for the next 4 years after this. And all the people who aided and abetted that, because that's a lie that had consequences on this presidential race that, like, I mean, hopefully the Democrats like felt it and noticed the impact of I mean, I think the ones who are honest do anyway, right? Like, I think there are people who are pissed off that the Biden administration lied for that long and covered this up.
I do too.
Because it screwed them over. And there's a chance that if in the spring they had a real primary, even starting last year, if they'd had a real primary and let other people get in and had a better candidate than Kamala Harris, who was truly atrocious and chose an even worse running mate. Like we were talking about Tim Walz earlier
with
today.
nobody in particular, yes.
That like they could have won that election, because I don't think that it was like a foregone conclusion that Trump would win against anyone.
No, well, yeah. What it was is them to half the country saying it's the same way when they had who is that tall guy, Robbie Cole, the tall guy, transvestite black guy who's at all the award ceremonies and dresses.
Oh yeah, I know who you mean.
The guy who's pretending he's good. Robbie. I don't even know. After the George Floyd thing, when he's singing "For What It's Worth," stop, maybe. What's that sound? Everybody, look, what's going? And it was like atrocious, like weird, brutalist version of the song, and not good, and weird, and awkward, and disgusting. It's like the same, and they tried to these same people who did that stuff, and then had their friends who share their Brooklyn loft apartments with them write reviews and cool, startup journalistic platforms. These same people said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find a guy who's a guy's guy, but our version of what a good guy's guy would be.
Billy Porter.
Yeah, Billy Porter.
That's the guy's name.
So we're going to find a guy to be vice president who's like tough everyman, but he's got all the good stuff that women would have. So they find this guy who's a homosexual, who's like, mind your own damn business. I only know how to make white guy casseroles. They're no good. And then he's doing like changing the oil in his car, and this needs an oil filter change, and just like the country. And I'm not trying to act like effeminate. I'm just acting like Tim Walz. And the thing is that you should be mad at him.
Right.
That could you say for a second? Hold on, Tim. Just one second. Just a quick time out. Are you homosexual? We don't care. There's no judgment on you whatsoever. But we're not sure that guys with pickup trucks who noodle for catfish and then cut them and eat them are going to fall for this, because it looks like to us that you're simply a gay guy trying to play a folksy Midwesterner who makes bad casseroles. And we get the feeling that, in fact, your casseroles are probably fantastic and well thought out and well planned. And we get the feeling that you're more familiar with Martha Stewart's her repertoire than most Midwestern men are. But no. And they foisted this guy, and I said, see, absolutely. He's a man. And like the jazz fingers and all the... And once again, it doesn't matter he's gay, because I almost everybody I know on the right is like, fine, who cares? Like, you can be gay all you want. Just don't dress the guy up as being like Mr. Alpha when he's not.
Tommy New Hampshire says he's Coleman gay.
Yeah. Although Coleman, I think, could maybe pull it off even. You're right, but it's a total lie. And by the way, it is possible to find a tough alpha gay guy. They do exist. Yeah. But they're probably Republicans, not what Democrats want to. No, that's
they
not.
Definitely are.
That's not what I want my dad to be. They wanted, as they said. Remember, they said they wanted somebody, like they said, we love Tim Walz because he's our fun dad if he wasn't ruined by Rush Limbaugh. Mm-hmm. And so they get this guy who's not like anybody. Like, no. So you can't have a dad who. It was a total losing proposition. These people are not smart. They're not. They don't know or care to know anybody outside of cosmopolitan population centers. They don't.
Well, right. I don't even think they have, like... I don't think the left has anybody right now who's, like, a heterosexual adult man.
Correct.
Like, not for staffers, not for, like, marketing people. Like, does anybody work for them? That's... I know they have some, like, senators and stuff and governors.
Fetterman?
Yeah.
Fetterman's the real thing.
I think Josh Shapiro's, like...
Probably.
A heterosexual.
He's a little shiny and corporate, but...
Newsom. He has stuff, but he's not gay. Like,
he's definitely not gay. Well, who knows? But he's he certainly likes ladies. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
But Joe Manchin.
Yeah.
Of course, he's an apostate. They hate him. But on the left now, it's hard to. It's hard to think about it. I don't know. Maybe, no. They don't have a Bill Clinton.
No.
Like, Bill Clinton actually kind of was J.D. Vance.
Right.
Who was a guy who was motivated, smart, did have a pickup truck, did have a rug in the back of it. I think Hillary gave him crap for being trashy. But the guy was going places.
Right.
But yeah, no, I do not see it at this point. I just do not.
But like, nobody who works for them is.
Yeah, but also back going to the Tim Walz thing, the fact that they don't know that the first thing that, like, most of you guys listening right now, when you hear this,
mind your own damn business.
The first thing you're not saying to yourself is, oh, he said mind your own damn business. The first thing you're saying to yourself is, oh, there's a gay man talking. Which also is not a judgment thing.
Yeah. It's just.
Right. It's just, that's
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But don't then tell me he's the most masculine man, straight man, absolutely got. Like, don't. You don't
Right.
have to do that. And it's not working. And it's such a cloistered boardroom where these people came and thought of this. It's like, do they not ever invite Carville in? Probably not. I assume he hurts too many feelings. As a matter of fact, I know that he would hurt too many feelings. Too many junior staffers would be in that room, would be absolutely in tears. Mm-hmm. The moment he started swearing, had no time for their BS. Yeah. I don't know. What else we got, Albie? Where are we?
Well,
I wanted to play one thing. Sorry. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
This is a guy, this British guy talks to, I don't know what this is. I just came onto the thing. This British guy is talking to this lady who wants reparations, and he kind of is good at debating.
This man gave a massive reality check to an activist who believes she should personally receive reparations for slavery.
Firstly, I think that there needs to be an apology, first and foremost, and then, of course, reparations.
Britain doesn't owe a single penny or an apology. We've apologised in 1840. We spent £20 million, a sum equivalent to £20 billion today, 43% of our entire budget freeing the slaves in 1833. If we had this discussion 200 years ago, I would be in favour of reparations. But the reality is there are no victims of British Empire slavery alive today. In fact, the descendants of slaves today are far better off and have a far higher quality of life than if their ancestors had never left West Africa. You're not a victim of slavery. You made actually quite a nice life out of talking about slavery. And you wouldn't be here on national TV discussing this were you not a descendant of a slave.
That's great. Mm-hmm. I don't know who the guy is. I wish I did.
And I don't know why the guy introducing it has like a Russian accent, but
no,
it's odd. But yeah, like I think that we're just at a point where there's like more and more appetite for common sense. That's why, like, somebody like Fetterman, people are so hungry for him. Or even, like, Cenk coming on and, like, doing the conservative thing. And I think to an extent, like, it's totally a bit. Like, I think a lot of these people are doing it for totally mercenary reasons. Like, I even think people fawn way too much over Bill Maher and stuff. You know, even though he's spot on and he's very funny a lot of the time when he criticizes the left. But I think people on the right get, like, way too lulled into a false sense of, like, that he's on our team. And he's definitely not. And, like, neither is Fetterman really about a lot of things, but it's just like so refreshing to hear anybody on the left be moderately sane that it shocks and surprises you when they do it and you like want to applaud them. But yeah, like I think we do give them like too much credit for showing even like the tiniest bit of sanity. Don't you think?
Totally
like
right.
We treat it like they've done something incredible and it's like really they're doing like the bare minimum of saying things that were like totally normal to say 20 years ago and we're acting like they're like brave firefighter heroes for doing it. Like really they're just going with the flow of where people are, which is towards common sense.
Totally agree. We have two
I had things that I wanted to talk about.
Go right ahead, ma'am. We're at 35 right now.
I know. I see the time. But so I have two things of the year to share with you. One is that AP has selected their female athletes of the year. Mm-hmm. So number one is Caitlin Clark. So like, yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. Number two is Simone Biles, which like also, yeah. Number three is Amani Khalif.
Who's the male boxer?
Who's the male boxer from Algeria. Right. Who we're being gaslit to think is a woman and is not. And I understand all the people being like, but Amani Khalif isn't even trans. She's just a woman. Like, no. He's a dude who just was born with deformed genitals that looked more female. Mm-hmm. Because he has whatever it's called, like 5 ARDs, and like his testes were never descended or whatever. But he's like a man, has male levels of testosterone, has XY hormones, like all the things. Like he's literally just a dude. His genitalia is just developed wrong.
Right. And
there's like everything, literally everything else is that he's a dude. Which is fine, but like, and I'm sorry that he was born into a culture where he's being told that he's a woman all his life because they don't understand like these medical issues.
Yes, but the thing is, sometimes, unfortunately, you're somebody born a certain way, but we don't distort reality to bend to you so that you can feel happy. Sometimes you have to suck it up and deal with it. Sorry about that. That's
Yeah.
just what it is. Nobody ever, at any time in my life, including now, nobody ever should be giving me a best body at Singing Beach award. If you do that and you force people to say that, yes, that's happening, you're bending reality.
If the AP named you.
Right. The world has invented black T-shirts for fatties like me to wear to beaches. Nobody has to deal with anything. I stay out of contests because I know that I'm not going to win them. They manage my expectations fairly early on in life. I realized that I was not going to be in the ripped contest. It was like, and it's fine, okay? But totally just using this. No, what do you mean? She's beautiful. What do you mean? No, you have to find Tom's physique fantastic or else you're a hater. You have to want to date him. Imagine those were the rules. That would have been fantastic. Oh my goodness.
And Oxford University Press has selected their 2024 word of the year.
I do not know this. Let me guess.
Last year it was Riz, remember?
Okay.
We talked about that.
No, Sigma? Skibbity?
I mean, that's like in the family of words. You're in the right. I'll tell you the runners up first. Demure. Remember demure was
I will say one
popular?
thing about the word demure. It is a lovely word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only because it went viral that we're doing it.
I know, yeah.
Dynamic pricing. Remember that was in the news, dynamic pricing, like they charge you more at peak times
Oh, right.
when you go to things. Lore. Lore.
Does
Like
this have to do with Taylor Swift more than it does with...
no, it has nothing to do with Taylor Swift, but that's like people just talk about their lore. Not like, you know, the lore of a universe. Like if you're into The Hobbit, there's like the lore
Okay,
of
yeah.
like where elves come from and whatever, but people use it like about themselves, right?
Gotcha.
So they'll talk about like, you know, if I tell you like a backstory about something that happened to me in middle school, that's like part of my lore.
Oh, I got it. It seems like a self-important thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Romantasy, which is a word for like fantasy books with romance in them, a la like Twilight, things like that, or movies, I suppose. And then, okay, you're probably a little bit sick. Some of the kids in the house have a cold. I'm sorry, dude. I'll give you some medicine. Slop,
I actually think it sounds delicious.
cultural material.
Whenever in movies like they serve the guy slop on bread, to me it always like looked good.
But it mean like people use it to refer to stuff online
Okay.
as
really?
like junk, like AI content is like slop.
Oh, I see. Ooh, I like that.
You know, so but the actual that's the runners up. The actual word of the year is brain rot.
Okay. That is something I assume that made people vote for Trump. Is that what that is? What is that?
Brain rot means like anything that's online that's like junk content that makes our kids dumber when they watch it on YouTube.
Not our kids.
I mean, but you know the stuff that's like on YouTube Shorts that's like stupid.
Oh,
content.
yeah. That is. Yeah.
That's brain rot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's brain rot. And remember, like when you were watching Menners Live and our daughter came downstairs and was like, "Oh, I see, it's brain rot for grown-ups."
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, so that's the 2024 word of the year. Tommy, New Hampshire says slam peg. Yeah.
Alice has been using that one.
I like that one. It's a good descriptive
Alice
word.
gains 4 pounds. You're stuck with the slam pig. Wow, that's great. It's great. Did we ever tell people our first night that you slept over my house? What happened?
About the water?
Have we said this story?
I don't know that we have.
Alice, deep into our dating relationship, after we've been on many, many, many dates, Alice stayed over one time at my house. And she was into me. Because she thought I was.
I really like you.
Yes, I was on the radio, and she was. And
But
she
I
was.
thought you were funny and cool.
Well,
I was like
obviously
very
that's all
charmed
true.
by you, obviously.
Yes. And so she used to smoke back then. She used to roll her own cigarettes. She was
Yeah.
badass Eastern European psycho, and I was drawn to it very much.
American Spirit Loose Tobacco.
And so she was smoking in my apartment. Because there was no
wasn't
smoking.
allowed,
Well,
but
not
I was
allowed.
edgy.
But yeah. But I also let her.
And it
because-
was February, so I didn't want to have to go out in the cold.
Right. It's February, as Alice says, yes. and so I brought her a little half wine glass thing, and I put some water in it so she could use it for her ashtray to put her cigarette out. When she was done, I gave it to her. And she said, "Oh, thank you," and drank the water.
I thought you were bringing me water.
There was a fifth of an inch.
Well, I didn't want to be rude. So.
But this is like, talk about being ready to be like. Was your previous dates were you handcuffed to a radiator for most like? Where do you get this low self-esteem? That's thank you. Yeah, the water was. You can actually have big glasses of water. You're free to leave this apartment. I don't own you. I don't know if, like, where you're from, the fact that I bought you 7 drinks means that I've taken ownership of your person. No, you're still emancipated. This is not, you're allowed to leave here alive. You don't have to pre-position yourself in the dumpster or anything. It's just, I don't know what you're used to. But, yes, but she was, thank you. But she just drank her little
I thought
thing.
you were bringing me water.
I gave her a 50th of a glass of water. This much, and she thanked me. That's when I realized, okay, I've got some upper hand here for at least for a little while. As I assume it'll wear off. Now, of course, I am her slave now, who has performance-enhancing drugs in my stocking, because God forbid I get away from being able to make sure that somebody can enjoy a pick six and bask. Ugh. Ridiculous. All right, ready for the something funny?
Why don't you tell people what other presents I got you for
That's
Christmas?
it. She got me that. She got me something. She got me Buns of Steel, the workout thing, P90X.
Not true.
She got me the Swedish and larger.
None of that's true.
She got me the whole hymns suite of stuff. Because I have one job now. Since she's a big executive
That's
now,
not true. What did I get you as your big present?
What?
What did I get you as your big present?
That was it.
No.
I do not know. You got me my big present.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh, lights.
No.
Okay, you got me lights though.
That was a little present.
Okay, little present, lights. Okay.
Uh-huh. Little LED lights that you like, that things like that.
You got me.
It has to do with our house.
A couch.
Our house sign?
Oh my goodness! Oh, why didn't you lead with this? Oh, we should.
Tom's a beautiful
tease this till
people
tomorrow.
now.
Oh, I am so much better than all you guys in the chat. I am officially so much better than you guys. This is fantastic. We are one of those people now with an official house sign from 1726 with a Captain Ephraim Noyes house, 1726. One of those houses now. Mm-hmm. So,
I sent you, the sign maker put it on Instagram.
Oh, good. I
sent you in the Instagram.
Okay,
post.
I will tweet that out, Instagram it out, whatever it's called. So I have to work my way into this though, Alice, because I'm going to adopt all these airs now. Because I'm one of those houses. I want people to notice the sign, but please continue walking past the house. Don't fix your gaze.
Don't stop and stare.
Don't stop
at
and
the
stare
Captain
at.
Ephraim Noyes
That's exactly
house.
right. Yeah. Yes, I have a variation on the American flag and the Union Jack that you don't. It's a special. You don't. Don't ask. We're one of these houses now. So that's right. We're better than now. That's what that means. That's what that. You know what that house is? That house is a double middle finger to everybody, saying that we have reached pinnacle. We're better human beings than probably you are. Probably you are. Yes, we could have gotten a McMansion. We certainly have the income to buy not even McMansion, but mansion, certainly. But we chose to live in this important historic artifact because we're better people than you. And we're preserving it. Every piece of
We're not preserving it.
Every part of this house is exactly as it was in 1726, including the neon-colored crayons that are all on the walls, on every wall of every room. Exactly with the defunct garden I built out front, which is just not really a garden. It's just a cemetery for failed plants and crops.
I moved a few of your failed plants out to the patio today, actually.
Oh yeah. It's not been great. So there you go. So if you drive past our house, you'll see the sign. You'll know that we're a little bit better than you. So keep on moving, please. Keep on moving. That's why you know what we gotta get. I gotta turn into a turtleneck guy. Turtleneck guy with a hot steaming coffee where I blow into it out front next to my plaque a little bit every morning. Maybe a scarf too. You know? I've made it. I've made it. Status symbol means I've made it. So one of our chat messages, by the way, we're not playing, but we've done this for a couple of people. If you leave a chat message and if you're plastered during it, which is a not so exclusive experience. Many people leaving the chat messages are as slightly buzzed or inebriated as the people experiencing them in this room sometimes. But yes, if you don't want us to play them, you don't have to. Although, I would strongly implore you, ladies, and this is a lady, friend of ours, listener. This was a really adorable message. A really cute, slightly tipsy message. Really cute message. I am down with ladies being a little bit tipsy, leaving messages. It's a personal favorite of mine. But we're not going to play it because she's embarrassed by it, which we've done before in the past. As somebody who's embarrassed by entire shows, I do. I know how nice it would be to never have hit the upload button. So we're not going to play that one, but we're going to play these other two. Ready, Alice?
I'm ready.
Ready?
Ready.
One is for all you can eat, so we'll wait for that. Which
I
we're
think
doing.
we have like 3 all-you-can-eat messages to play, to be honest with you.
Do we? Oh, you're right.
We have a few.
Here we go.
Tom, to answer your question,
Yes.
vodka sauce is a winner if prepared correctly.
Okay.
A lot of restaurants make it a little too dense. And I don't know if maybe they're putting in too much cream or whatnot. And it doesn't make the meal enjoyable because you're not eating more than maybe like a quarter to a half of the plate before you're full.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not a good full. So if it's done right, absolutely, a vodka sauce is brilliant. It's a great meal. And I will say this. If you're at the supermarket, Rayo's does a vodka sauce, which is out of this world good, and that's one that I would definitely recommend. And Alice, I also agree with you. Pasta Fry Diablo is a top 5 for me in terms of pastas. Great pick there.
And thank you, Steve, and I appreciate that. I've never ordered it out, something with vodka sauce. I've only had it in the jar. But I will say that as far as sauces go, I think there's something on sale right now at Market Basket down to $6 or something. It's a delicious. It's not Rayo's or Rouse, whatever it is.
We call it Rouse, but I don't know what's right.
This one is like Fiona's or something, and she's got a bunch of different. It's like $2 off, I think. A bunch of different flavors. They're all delicious. But I will say, I think that you can agree that what's a sign of a good spaghetti sauce in the jar, just visually.
Like watery?
Oily.
Oily.
There should be oil. There should be, just like wine has legs, you know, it's little tendrils running down.
Yeah, because and I guess what I mean isn't so much watery as like thin. Do you know what I mean? Compared to like the ones that are like the less expensive ones are like saucier and they're like a thicker, which is also fine. Like I'm a big enjoyer of like pasta and tomato sauce of all quality levels. But like, the Rouse or Rayo's, I don't know how it's supposed to be said, but that one is like ridiculous quality. I find that one so good.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah.
You done? Because you had an but yeah. So
I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Thank you. You too.
And to the Jewish listeners,
hey,
Happy Hanukkah.
Here we go.
Everybody be safe and have a very gentle holiday.
Here we go. Does that mean Gentile, do you think? Is that means?
Gentle holiday.
What is it? You've heard that before? Gentle?
No, I've heard that, but
yeah, here. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I can't believe it's been two days.
Yeah, so we did Hanukkah.
Christmas Eve. Oh man, we're flat. Oh. When we're going to discuss the beautiful person stuff again next show. But we're also going to discuss my psychotic wife. Christmas Eve. Holy frig.
No.
Talk about messages I'd love to read. Oh my God. Oh, you monster. Attractive monster. That's the thing. That's what you get. That's who you marry. You marry the attractive monster.
You marry the crazy chick smoking cigarettes in your apartment, then you end up with a crazy chick. I mean, like, I don't know what to tell you. What you see is what you get. But I mean, like, I feel like we ended on a good note.
Sure. How are you gonna land this plane, Alice? We've got
All
about
right,
10
love
seconds.
you guys. We will see you on Sunday.
C'est la vie.